The nerve of this clown to disrespect his own fan base. I can't even believe he said that. This is the beginning of the end, and he's crashing out, and it's going to be interesting to see how all this unfolds. When your own fans are saying we deserve better, that's when you know you're at an all-time low. Man, oh man, I thought things were already bad enough for Billy Napier, but he just made it 10 times even worse. This guy's something else, and I guess you could say it didn't take long for the drama in the college football world to start up, because here we are. Week 1 has just ended, and look at what's unfolded with just Florida and Florida State. It is a wild time to be a fan of any of the Florida football teams. Miami, the fan base is at an all-time high. Florida State's at an all-time low. And Florida, they're in a similar position. I'm not going to give you the run-through. If you don't know what's led us up until this point, you got to be living under a rock and go watch some of the previous videos. Long story short, Billy Napier is not SEC material. He's not a good football coach, and he let his fans down in week 1. You got blown out by Miami, and since we talked about that game so much already, I'm not going to speak about it. If you are new to the channel and you don't know how I feel about Mr. Billy Napier, let me give you a long story short. I stated in year 1 he should have been fired, so you could probably assume how I feel about him right now. Anyways, getting a move on here. Recently, he did a press conference, and something he said in it, it's starting to make its rounds on social media. More importantly, Twitter. Let's take a listen to what good old Billy had to say.
Championship teams. I've been a part as a coach on national championship teams, SEC championship teams, conference champions, division champions, and very rarely did we win every single game.
Let me pause it right there. Not the focal point of what we're about to get into, but you're right. Very rarely do you win every single game. But that's not the problem, Billy Napier. You didn't compete in the game against Miami. That's why your fan base is upset. It's almost like he's trying to make them even more mad by stating that. Nobody is mad that you lost Miami. They're mad you didn't even put up a fight.
And I think ultimately a loss early can be a blessing if you don't waste it.
I agree with that. Great words. You can learn a lot from a loss, not just in college football, but in every area and aspect in your life.
We got to go to work on the football part, and I think we got to get more. We got to become a more consistent team, and we have to execute better. And if we can focus on those things and not necessarily what some guy in his basement saying in rural Central Florida on social media, then we got a chance to get better, right? So I think that's the key.
All right, that is the clip. That is the part that everybody's talking about. You heard the man. If we can focus on those things and not what some guy in his basement in rural Central Florida is saying on social media, we'll be fine. Here's the first thing I thought of when he said that, and I know he's joking, but unless I'm highly misinformed, in Florida, the swampy areas, you don't have basements in homes. For those of you who don't know, I reside in Alabama, so I've been to Florida so many times I can't even tell you. I have buddies that live in Florida. None of them have basements. That's just not a common thing. So that is one thing I thought of. It's like, well, you probably shouldn't be saying that because it's just not true. In Florida, you don't have basements. Secondly, because I know everybody's going to say, well, Matt, he was joking. That's a normal thing to say, the stereotypical, oh, well, you live in your mom's basement. Maybe you should start listening to those guys. This is a whole 25, 30-minute press conference, and I just showed you about roughly 45 seconds to a minute. I'm not going to show you anymore. You know how it goes. You're just going to give you a bunch of coach talk. It doesn't matter if you watch this video on Twitter or YouTube. Everybody in the comments, they're frustrated, and they are not happy. Florida fans want him fired. These comments, I'm going to pop up on the screen for you. These are on the official Florida Gators football YouTube channel. This isn't on Twitter where everybody that isn't a fan of Florida, they're piling on. No, these are your fans. When your own fans are saying we deserve better, that's when you know you're at an all-time low. I love this comment. Billy has no fire in him. Can't expect the players to have fire in them when the coach has none. Goes back to what I've always said. Urban Meyer, extremely shady person off the field, but on the field, he's one of the best college football coaches of all time. He had that fire. He had that aggression and passion. Mark stated, Gator fan for 61 years. This is the softest, poorly coached team I've ever seen. No fight, no sense of urgency. Play calling is atrocious. Defense is a complete joke. You had 280 days to prepare, and you totally failed. Obviously, it doesn't matter because Billy is still cashing those checks. Wow. What do y'all think about that? Shout out to Mark. David Wilson stated, sounds like a press conference from the previous 2 years. Billy seems like a good guy, but he's not cut out for the head coach of Florida. We want to run and gun offense and tough players with some swag. All too often, we appear to have the nicer players. Yeah, this man is content with mediocrity. No intensity or urgency on the field or off. I don't know how much of this can be fixed at this point. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, partner, but none of it can be fixed. He's not the right guy for Florida. They should have fired him in year 1, year 2. They should fire him. Okay, I know I've said this a lot on the channel, but I will continue to say it with Billy Napier. They say the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. You know the second best time? Today! Although you should have been fired, this clown, absolute joke of a head coach, you can't look in the past and go, oh, well, we should have fired him then. No, just make up for it and fire him today. Brandon said, I can't believe I believed the offseason hype. Billy proved me wrong and it hurts. I don't want to watch another game. It sucks. Tired of hearing quote-unquote execution. Billy, they ain't doing it and you ain't changing anything to fit your players. Your game plans suck or, at bare minimum, don't work. You're going to lose a team because you're officially losing fans. Don writes, I've been a Napier supporter up until Saturday. I was patient and wanted to give him time, but in year 3, it's clear what his identity is. Saturday was the same thing. We've seen from day 1 of Billy being here, bad defense, mild offense with questionable play calling, no blocking up front, and no pressure from the defensive line, constant penalties on crucial downs, the list goes on. I do appreciate him not wasting my time and letting me know now how this season will go, so I don't have any higher expectations. I love this comment, short, simple, and to the point. Time to part ways. No, this is a good what Keith said. The Miami quarterback had enough time in his pocket to do his taxes. Good effort and no loafing my blank. This guy is 100% delusional about 100% of everything. A bunch of nothing answers. Billy, you are a great guy, but you are not right for this program. With all that being said, and by the way, major shout out to the Florida fan base. I've always really enjoyed them, and they've always been really great to me on my channel and in my community. My biggest dilemma and problem with what Billy Napier said is you're disrespecting your own fan base. Billy Napier, I know you don't live in reality, but I'm going to give you a reality check. You do know the people that pay your salary are your fans that work extremely hard at their jobs and save up every single penny they have so they can pay their hard work and good money to go to your football games. And you have the balls and the nerve to call these people out? And he's acting like they don't have a right to be upset when they do. They're working their butts off to pay for these tickets, buy from the concession stand. By the way, overpriced food at the concession stands, different conversation for a different day. Don't even get me started on that. They show up to these games, watch the games at home, however they do it, however they support your team, and you let them down every single week, and you let them down every single year. I'm extremely fortunate to be a fan of an outstanding, not just great football program, but great sports program, and that's Alabama. I genuinely feel bad for Florida fans because you don't even get to look forward to your weekends anymore. Whereas me, I'm like, oh yeah, Alabama plays, can't wait to watch my favorite team, and we've been really good for the past 15, 16 years. For people like myself, us diehard college football fans, this is our escape from reality. This is our escape from work, problems in our life, whatever it is. So when you become the head coach at Florida and you're ruining one of their bright spots of their weekend, bright spots of their life, yeah, they're going to criticize you, and rightfully so. This is Florida football. This isn't South Alabama, Virginia Tech, Minnesota, Northwestern. There's standards here, and there's high standards at that. If you don't like Florida fans criticizing you and your football team, Billy Napier, then maybe you should just resign right now. The nerve of this clown to disrespect his own fan base. I can't even believe he said that. It's the equivalent to, and let's put into a better perspective so we can relate on the channel. It's no different from me having a terrible take, like, for example, the USC game. I thought USC's defense didn't have a shot to stop LSU, and I was completely wrong. And I got a bunch of comments from you guys. Hundreds of comments, maybe even thousands of comments saying, oh, Matt, you was wrong about USC. So imagine me getting up here the following day and saying, oh, well, that's just one bad take. I'm never going to have a bad take again. We're going to fix them from here on out. And you live in your mom's basement, so I'm not worried about what you say anyways. Like, what? Come on, man. Just show some respect. What did I wind up saying? Hey, I was wrong. USC impressed me, and I just missed on that one. And that's all Billy had to do. All he had to do in his press conference was say, yeah, we just play a bad football game, but we're going to try to be better from here on out. Not to say they would have made fans happy, but they wouldn't have been as pissed as they are now. This is the beginning of the end, and he's crashing out, and it's going to be interesting to see how all this unfolds. I will keep you guys updated. I'm sure this won't be the last time we talk about it. Let me know your thoughts down below about that.